Ever you thought that why and how we get supply of anything without interruption especially? Yes, you are right. It is because of production and supply. Obviously, common sense. Similarly, to keep this world alive, reproduction is imperative, without which wait, let me start the session first. So hello everyone, this is the video of biology class 12th unit 1 and chapter 3rd, that is the human reproduction. And today in this video I will discuss human reproduction, focusing on male reproductive system in simple language but in illustrative manner, which will make you understand every point clearly. So let's begin the topic without wasting a single minute. Okay. So under the heading of male reproductive system, first I will discuss the structure of male reproductive organs, and in the second part I will discuss the function of all those reproductive organs. So first of all, let's see what are the organs actually. So primarily, male reproductive system can be categorized as into three main parts. That is the external male reproductive system. Here you can see internal male reproductive system, and the last one is the helping one, and which is known as the accessory organs. Now let's discuss each one of them in detail. External male reproductive organs means the organ lies outside, as its name says, external. So it means the organ lies outside and it is visible. It includes the penis and scrotum. Well, penis is the external genital organ for copulation through which urine and semen pass by way of the penile urethra. The distal end of the penis is called the glans penis, and it is covered with a fold of skin which is known as the prepuce or foreskin. Within the penis, there are masses of erectile tissue. Each consists of framework of smooth muscles and connective tissues also that actually contains the blood sinuses, which are large, irregular and vascular channels. Secondly, scrotum, which is biologically homologous to the labia majora in case of females, is a male reproductive structure, and that is actually located at the caudal to the penis. That consists of the suspended dual-chambered sac of skin and smooth muscles. It is present in most terrestrial male mammals. The scrotum contains the external spermatic fascia, testis, epididymis and ductus deferens. The scrotum usually gets tightened during the penile erection and when exposed to the cold temperature. Though it is not in your syllabus, I know, but I believe that without sharing the fact that how the scrotum develops, the discussion of male reproductive organ is incomplete. You cannot understand everything clearly. So let's focus briefly on the development of a scrotum first. So development of reproductive organs and tissues in females and males both begin during the 5th week after the fertilization. And further, the gonadal ridge grows behind the peritoneal membrane. By the 6th week, by the 6th week, string-like tissues called primary sex cords form within the enlarging gonadal ridge. Externally, a swelling called the genital tubercle appears over the cloacal membrane. All such development you can see in the given image here, then these points are very clear to you. Further up, until the 8th week after the fertilization, the reproductive organs do not appear to be different between the male and female and are called indifferentiated one too. It means by this time, sex detection is very difficult. Testosterone secretion starts during the 8th week and that reaches the peak levels during week 13 and eventually decline to a very low levels by the end of the 2nd trimester. Actually, the testosterone causes the masculinization of the labioscrotal folds into the scrotum. The scrotal raphe is formed when the embryonic urethral grooves closes by around week 12. Though the testis and scrotum forms early in embryonic life, sexual maturation begins upon entering the puberty. The increased secretion of testosterone causes the darkening of the skin and development of the pubic hair on the scrotum. So now believe that you are clear with the point that the scrotum and penis are not there right from the beginning. Rather, they develop over period in time. Although present in most mammals, but the external scrotum is little different, because external scrotum is absent in streamlined marine mammals such as whales and seals, as well as in some lineages of land mammals like Afrotherians and Xenarthrans, and numerous families of bats and rodents and insectivores, you can say. Okay, so that was about the external male reproductive part. Now move towards the internal one. Yes, now the second point is the internal male reproductive organ, which is in fact a continuous tube, but it has many parts. So listen me carefully. That is the testis, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra in penis. So let's discuss each one of them in detail, because I want to make your all doubts very clear. Homologous to the female ovary, testis is the primary male reproductive gland or gonad, you can say. Testicles or testis, in the singular form it is known as the testis actually. They are located in the scrotum, which is a sac of skin between the upper thighs. In the male fetus, the testis develops near the kidneys, then descend into the scrotum just before birth. Each testis is about 1.5 inches long and by 1 inch wide. The function of the testis are to produce both sperms and androgens, primarily testosterone, which is responsible for the masculinization, which I already told you. Testosterone release is controlled by the anterior pituitary luteinizing hormone, which is also known as LH hormone, and whereas sperm production is controlled by the anterior pituitary follicle stimulating hormone, which is also known as FSH, and gonadal testosterone. So now let's have a glimpse of internal structure of the testis. Well, the testes are covered by a tough membranous shell called the tunica albuginea. Focus on their names. Within the testis, there are very fine coiled tubes called seminiferous tubules. The tubules are lined with a layer of cells, which is known as germ cells, that develop from puberty through the old age into the sperm cells, also known as the spermatozoa or male gametes, you can say. The animated image on the screen has shown the structure and functions very clearly, and their respective names are also available so that you can understand everything clearly. So besides here, you can also see the developing sperm travel through the seminiferous tubules to the rete testis located in the mediastinum testis, to the efferent ducts, and then the epididymis where newly created sperm cells mature. We will discuss in detail while discussing the chapter spermatogenesis. At that time I will clear your doubts. The sperm move into the vas deferens and are eventually expelled through the urethra and out of the urethral orifice through the muscular contraction. Yes, there is a major role of muscular contraction. Now let's understand the types of primary cell within the seminiferous tubules. So here are germ cells that develop into the spermatogonia, spermatocytes, spermatids, and spermatozoon through the process of spermatogenesis, a single process but so many formations. So the gametes that contain the DNA for fertilization of an ovum, likewise the male germ cells, yes, undergo meiotic division, finally leading to the sperm formation, which is the actually main function of the male reproductive system. Okay, now come towards the next point, that is the Sertoli cells. Yes, these are also known as the nursing cell, the true epithelium of the seminiferous epithelium, critical for the support of germ cell development into the spermatozoa. Sertoli cells secrete inhibin. Yes, as its name says, inhibin, it means it has to inhibit something. So that is a kind of protein or enzyme, you can say. Likewise, Sertoli cells provide the nutrition to the germ cells too. That's why they are known as nursing cells. The next one is the peritubular myoid cells surround the seminiferous tubules. Now come towards the next one, that is the interstitial cells, which is actually cells between the tubules. Well, the region outside the seminiferous tubules called the interstitial spaces, you can see here. In these spaces, small blood vessels are available and interstitial cells, which is also known as the Leydig cells. I think the Leydig cell one is better one. So we will say it Leydig cells. So these are the cells that is actually localized between the seminiferous tubules that produce and secrete testosterone and other androgens important for the sexual development and puberty, secondary sexual characteristics like facial hair and behavior especially the sexual behavior, and libido supporting the spermatogenesis and erectile function, so many functions. So testosterone also control the testicular volume. Now the question is, very important question, why are testes located outside the abdominal cavity, or in fact outside the body, you can say? Well, it is an interesting fact actually that nature has something planned in advance, or you can say that is pre-planned. That is actually the human body temperature is about 37 degree or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, which is not suitable for the testis as it needs comparatively lower temperature. Therefore, its outside maintain its lower temperature for its proper functioning, and that is around 35 degrees Celsius, which is 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less than the internal body temperature. Amazing arrangement. Necessary, and this temperature is actually necessary for the spermatogenesis. Higher temperature actually affects the spermatogenesis, so that's why this arrangement is available. However, there are a number of mechanisms to maintain the testis at the optimum temperature. The cremasteric muscle is part of the spermatic cord. Listen me carefully, because when this muscle contracts, the cord is shortened and the testicle is moved closer up towards the body, which provides slightly more warmth to maintain optimal testicular temperature. When cooling is required, the cremasteric muscle relaxes and the testicle is lowered away from the warm body and is able to cool now. So contraction also occurs in response to the stress. The testicle rise up towards the body in the case of you can say protection, that is at the time of fight too. Okay, now let's discuss the growth and development of testis. So there are basically two phases in which the testis grow substantially, namely in embryonic and pubertal age. So in humans, starting at about week 4, the gonadal rudiments are present within the intermediate mesoderm adjacent to the developing kidneys, and at about week 6, sex cords develop within the forming testis. So these are made up of early Sertoli cells that surround the nurture the germ cells. That is also known as the nursing cells because of their function. And these cells that migrate into the gonads shortly before sex determination begins. And in case of male, the sex-specific gene SRY, and that is located on Y chromosome. You can see that. And actually that gene initiates the sex determination by downstream regulation of sex determining factors like GATA4, SOX9 and AMH. So these are the three main factors which leads to the development of the male phenotype, including directing development of the early bipotential gonad down the male path of development. Well, testes follow the path of descent from high in the posterior fetal abdomen into the inguinal ring and beyond to the inguinal canal and into the scrotum. In most cases, approximately 97% full term and around 70% preterm. Both testes have descended by birth. In most other cases, only one testis fails to descend, and that condition is actually known as cryptorchidism, and that will probably express itself within a year. On the other hand, the testes grow in response to the start of spermatogenesis. Size depends on the lytic function and sperm production, that is actually the amount of spermatogenesis present in cells, and the interstitial fluid and Sertoli cells fluid production. So these are the main factors. And after puberty, the volume of the testis can be increased by over 500% as compared to the prepubertal size. Okay, so that's all about this testis. Now let's discuss epididymis. First of all, what exactly it is? So the epididymis is a tube. Here you can see its diagram. That is about 20 feet long, that is coiled on the posterior surface of each testis. So it is a tube that connects a testicle to a vas deferens in the male reproductive system. It is a single, narrow, tightly coiled tube. In case of adult humans, it is 6 to 7 meters, that is approximately 20 to 23 feet long in length, you can say, that coiled on the posterior surface of each testis. As you can see in the picture shown in the screen, here you can see that. Within the epididymis, the sperm complete their maturation and their flagella become functional. Yes, for the movement one. This is also a site to store sperm until the next ejaculation. The smooth muscles in the wall of the epididymis propels the sperms into the ductus deferens from the rete testis open into the epididymis, which is highly coiled tubule. Epididymis keeps sperms for some time, gives nourishment to it. Yes. Now move on next term, that is the vas deferens. So the first question is again, what is vas deferens? That is also known as ductus deferens or spermatic deferens. Vas deferens is actually a Latin term which means carrying away vessel. It is a duct that extends from the epididymis in the scrotum on its side into the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal, which you already heard. As you can see in the image shown in the screen, everything is crystal clear here. The inguinal canal is an opening in the abdominal wall for the spermatic cord, a connective tissue sheath that contains the ductus deferens, testicular blood vessels and nerves. The smooth muscle layer of the ductus deferens contracts in waves of peristalsis during the ejaculation. The vas deferens, also called ductus deferens, which means carrying away duct or vessels you can say, is the part of the male reproductive system of many vertebrates. These ducts actually transport sperm from the epididymis to the ejaculatory ducts in anticipation of ejaculation. And it is a partially coiled tube which exits the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal. Now move on the next term, that is the ejaculatory duct. So many times we heard ejaculation. So what is the ejaculatory duct? Let's see that. The ejaculatory ducts are paired. Yes, these are the paired structure in male anatomy. And each ejaculatory duct is formed by the union of the vas deferens with the duct of the seminal vesicle. And they pass through the prostate and open into the urethra at the seminal colliculus. Now the last category is remained, that is the urethra in penis. So urethra in penis, actually it is a tube that connects the urinary bladder to the urinary meatus for the removal of the urine from the body of both female and males. But the urethra, which is the last part of urinary tract, traverses the corpus spongiosum and its opening known as the meatus. Here you can see that. And it lies on the tip of the glans penis. Females use their urethra only for urination, but in case of males, their urethra for both urination and ejaculation. Now I believe you guys are tired, but believe me, once you understand the structure, everything will be on your fingertips. Exactly, I am saying true. So energize yourself and be with me for a few more minutes, as we are still left with our last category, that is the helping one, which is known as the accessory organs. So it is the organ which major role to secrete fluid, and significant to them are, and there are again three main parts, that is the seminal vesicles which are present in the paired condition, and prostate gland which is single, and the next one is the bulbourethral glands that is again present in the paired form. Let's discuss each one of them in brief. The seminal vesicles, also known as the vesicular gland or seminal glands, are a pair of glands in males that are positioned below the urinary bladder, and at the end of the vas differentia you can see the location where they enter the prostate. Each vesicle is a coiled and folded tube with occasional outpouchings turns to diverticula in its wall. Simultaneously keep paying attention on images as well, only then you are able to connect yourself with the complete topic. The lower part of the tube ends as a straight tube that is actually called the excretory ducts, which joins the vas deferens of that side of the body to form an ejaculatory duct. That is the main function of that duct, is actually ejaculation. So the ejaculatory ducts pass through the prostate gland before opening separately into the verumontanum of the prostatic urethra. The vesicles are between 5 to 10 cm in size and 3 to 5 cm in diameter and have a volume of around 13 ml, not very big. Now move on the next term, that is the prostate gland. The prostate is a muscular gland of the male reproductive system. In adults, it is about the size of a walnut and has an average weight of about 11 grams, usually ranging from 7 to 16 grams too. The prostate gland is located in the pelvis region and it sits below the urinary bladder and surrounds the urethra. The part of the urethra passing through it is called the prostatic urethra, which joins with the two ejaculatory ducts. The prostate is covered in a surface called the prostatic capsule, or you can say prostatic fascia. The internal structure of the prostate has been described using both lobes and zones. Because of the variation in descriptions and definitions of lobes, the zone classification is used more predominantly. The prostate has been described as consisting of 3 or 4 zones. You can see all the zones on the screen. It's mentioned very clearly and you can understand them well. The smooth muscle of the prostate gland contracts during the ejaculation to contribute to the expulsion of semen from the urethra. Now we will move on our last term, which is left of the accessory gland category, and that is the actually bulbourethral gland, which is present in two conditions. It means they are paired. The bulbourethral gland are also known as Cowper's gland, and that is named for English anatomist William Cowper. Is one of two small exocrine glands in the reproductive system. The glands are located below the prostate gland and empty into the urethra. Homologous to the Bartholin glands in females, the bulbourethral glands are responsible for producing a pre-ejaculate fluid called Cowper's fluid. It has a very important role, listen me carefully, which is secreted during the sexual arousal, and that actually neutralizes the acidity of the urethra in preparation for the passage of sperm cells. So guys, this is all for today. Take some rest and relax. Well, I really appreciate your patience, but guys, I repeat, if you understood all this, rest of thing is just one time reading only. However, before saying bye-bye, let's have a glance and what we have discussed in this video. Let's have a quick revision. So first of all, keep in mind that I have discussed only the structure of male reproductive organs. So primarily I have categorized into 3 parts: the external one, internal one, and then the accessory organs. So in the case of external male reproductive organs, it has 2 organs, namely penis and scrotum. When we talk about the internal male reproductive system, it has 5 organs, namely testis, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra in penis. And when we talk about the accessory organ, it has the 3 organs, namely seminal vesicles, paired one, and prostate gland, single one, and bulbourethral gland, that is again in the paired form. In next video, I will be discussing the function of all these organs. So take a pause and join back to me for further studies. So till then, just stay tuned with me. Bye-bye.